I was flipping through our family photo album when I found pictures of myself as a baby that were taken 3 years before I was born. My hand started shaking as I stared at the impossible images. There I was, same birthmark on my left shoulder, same distinctive cleft in my chin, even the same unusual eye color that runs in my family. But the date stamp read 1987. I wasn't born until 1990. I'd been looking through the album to find photos for my mom's 60th birthday slideshow. She was in the kitchen making her famous lasagna, humming like she always did when she was happy. Dad was in his workshop, probably building another birdhouse. It was supposed to be a perfect Sunday afternoon. But these photos changed everything. The baby in the pictures was wearing clothes I recognized from my own baby photos. Sitting in the same high chair. Playing with the same stuffed elephant I'd cherished as a toddler. Even stranger, my parents looked exactly the same age in both sets of photos, despite them supposedly being taken 3 years apart. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I grabbed more albums from the shelf, frantically searching for answers. That's when I found them. Birth certificates. 2 of them. One for Sarah Michelle Thompson, born April 15, 1987. One for me, Sarah Michelle Thompson, born April 15, 1990. Same parents. Same hospital. Same everything. Except I'd never heard of the first Sarah. I confronted my mom first. She was still in the kitchen, her face flushed from the oven heat, looking so normal and innocent. "Mom, who is this?" I shoved the 1987 photos in front of her face. The lasagna dish slipped from her hands and shattered on the floor. The color drained from her face like someone had pulled a plug. She stood there, frozen, staring at the broken glass and cheese scattered across the tiles. "Where did you find those?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "In our family album." "Mom, what is this? Why are there pictures of me from before I was born?" She started crying then. Not the gentle tears she shed at movies or when she was proud of me. These were gut-wrenching sobs that seemed to come from somewhere deep and broken inside her. That's when Dad appeared in the doorway. One look at the photos in my hand and his face went white. "We need to sit down," he said. The truth came out in pieces, like pulling shards of glass from a wound. I had a twin sister. Sarah. She died when she was 2 years old. Drowned in our neighbor's pool during a barbecue while everyone was distracted. My parents were devastated, consumed by guilt and grief. They couldn't function, couldn't sleep, couldn't even look at each other without seeing their failure. 3 years later, they decided to try again. When I was born, I looked exactly like Sarah. Same birthmark, same features, same everything. It was like the universe was giving them a second chance. But instead of helping them heal, it made them obsessed. They gave me Sarah's name. Bought me the same clothes. Put me in her room, sleeping in her crib. They recreated every photo they'd taken of her, staging identical shots with me as a baby. They wanted to replace her. To pretend she'd never died. To pretend I was her. "We just missed her so much," Mom sobbed. "And you looked so much like her. It felt like we got her back." I felt sick. My entire identity was built on a lie. Every childhood memory, every family story, every moment of my life had been contaminated by this deception. I wasn't Sarah Thompson. I was Sarah Thompson's replacement. A living memorial to a dead child. The rage hit me like a physical blow. 28 years of my life, and I'd never really existed to them. I was just a consolation prize. A do-over. A way for them to avoid dealing with their grief and guilt. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. I grabbed the photo albums and ran to my car, leaving them crying in their kitchen surrounded by broken glass and ruined lasagna. For weeks, I was a mess. I called in sick to work, ignored my friends, barely ate. I kept staring at those photos, trying to separate myself from the ghost I'd been living in the shadow of. Every mirror felt like a lie. Every childhood memory felt stolen. But slowly, the grief turned to anger. And the anger turned to determination. They'd stolen my identity. Made me live as someone else's replacement. But I was going to take it back. I started with the legal stuff. Changed my middle name from Michelle to Grace, something that was mine alone. Then I dug deeper into Sarah's story, learning everything about the sister I'd never known existed. I found medical records, death certificates, even talked to neighbors who remembered that terrible day. Then I planned my revenge. I organized a family reunion. Invited all our relatives, including my mom's sister who lived across the country and rarely visited. I told everyone I had a special announcement to make. The night of the reunion, with everyone gathered in my parents' living room, I set up a projector. I thought it would be fun to look through some old family photos, I announced. I started with the normal ones. Everyone smiled and laughed at the baby pictures and childhood memories. Then I put up a side-by-side comparison. Sarah from 1987 on the left. Me from 1990 on the right. Identical poses, identical clothes, identical everything. The room went silent. "This is Sarah Michelle Thompson," I said, pointing to the left. "She died in 1989. And this is me, also named Sarah Michelle Thompson, born in 1990. My parents never told me I had a twin sister who died. They raised me as her replacement, staging identical photos and giving me her entire identity." The gasps and shocked whispers filled the room. My aunt stood up, her face horrified. "Is this true?" My parents couldn't deny it anymore. The evidence was right there on the wall. Mom started crying again, but this time no one comforted her. Dad tried to explain, but his words sounded hollow and pathetic. My relatives were appalled. They'd noticed the similarities in old photos over the years but never questioned it. Now they realized they'd been part of the lie, unknowing accomplices in erasing my identity. The reunion ended early. People left quietly, shaking their heads, looking at my parents like they were strangers. My aunt hugged me tight before she left. "You deserved to know," she whispered. "You deserved your own identity." My parents tried to apologize, tried to explain their grief and desperation. But I was done being their emotional band-aid. I moved across the country, started fresh with my new name and my own identity. I built a life that belonged to me alone. It took years of therapy to fully understand the damage they'd done. To learn how to be myself instead of someone's replacement. But I finally found peace in knowing that I'm not responsible for healing other people's trauma, even if those people are my parents. They stole my identity for 28 years, but they can't steal my future. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.